Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. Today is Wednesday, June the 2nd, and happy to be here in Studio A for a change. They messed up and let us back in the door. So let's look at the weather here, and we'll get on to the special guests and talk about pompano fishing today. So sunny with a high of about 85, low tonight around 72. We got a southwest wind in the afternoon at about 8 miles per hour. And the reason that's important is we have a high tide today at 3:12 p.m. Low tide was already 1:35 a.m. So with the sunset at 7:40, if you're looking to fish a falling tide, which I love to fish, we love to fish, today is a great day to do it. Great day to do it. The average water temperature is 80 degrees. That's mostly out in open waters. When you start wandering around the shallows, we've been finding temperatures around, 83 on average. So, a little bit warmer on the flats as it should be. Major fishing times this morning with high activity, 6:12 a.m. to 8:12 a.m. So as soon as you're done with the show, good time to go. This afternoon, though, 6:27 to 8:27. And like I said, with the 7:40 sunset, man, late this afternoon should be great. And of course, I can't go. Apalachicola at Bluntstown is at a reasonable level. It's 6 feet and falling. And the catfishing over there and the brim fishing, from what I hear, can't prove it personally, has been just fantastic and should be. You're going to have a continued fall through the weekend. Choctawhatchee at Caryville is 6.2. It's going to stall for a day or two, and then it's going to fall out towards the weekend as well. So great week. Everything is set up this week for some great fishing. We're on the backside of that full moon now, so we don't have that to contend with like we did last week. So let's go ahead and take this break, and we'll be right back with our special guest. Hey, and welcome back. As you can see, I'm joined, as usual, by our mayor, Greg Brudnicki. Greg, good to see you, man.
Good morning.
Good morning. Before we start talking about pompano fishing or any other kind of fishing, it's been said, I don't think it's been said enough, but congratulations to Mosley Baseball on winning the state championship.
Wow.
Yeah, the 5A state championship. And I'll tell you, when you go and you decisively beat a team that is a private school that gives scholarships, I faced that in high school, didn't come out as well in the state, but it's kind of an unfair playing field. But I'll tell you something, Mosley had a tremendous pitching effort. The starter went, I think, close to 6 innings.
I think he went 5. Gave up 7 hits and no runs. He's a junior.
Yeah.
Those 2 Rowan boys, I know them personally, and good kids.
Yeah.
I mean, good stock, great parents, and I don't know too many of the other kids on the team, but I do know them, and they've always been very respectful boys, and they are beyond their years as far as being mature, especially Rowan, the catcher, and I guess he kept his brother calm in that first inning where he was shaky. And
well, clearly the catchers make a difference in all the game.
Do. Well, sometimes.
Just saying.
But anyway, they did a wonderful job, and they need, if anybody sees any of the kids around town, thank them.
Yeah.
Because that's a very big deal.
Yeah,
it's a tough thing to do. Especially that team had beat them like 3 out of the last 4 times that they had met, and to go down there and kind of slap them around.
They did.
Game was good.
They did. Being decisive. And that's a very well coached team, a disciplined team. They hit the ball well, and I heard the coach on ESPN radio talking about the kids on there and how many of them, which a big majority of those kids have like a 3.5 or better grade point average. I mean, these are kids who are focused and excel in all aspects of that. But congratulations! It's a difficult task. It's their second state championship, so It's just very impressive to beat a private school like that that gives scholarships and stuff when you're a local school. So anyway.
No doubt.
No doubt. Let's talk the hottest thing this year, not just this year, but in all the years that I can remember, and I talked to some old guys, even older than you, who said this was the best Pompano season ever. And I would agree with them, and you got to participate in part of that, right?
I went once, and of course it's not over with.
Right.
In fact, June the 1st, last 3 years have been some of the best Pompano. I went last year, June the 1st, and we absolutely limited out in a couple hours and would have gone today, but but for work, couldn't do that. But yeah, it's been very good, and a lot of it has to do with, I guess, the water moving around a lot of wind. They like the water stirred up.
Sure.
And a lot of people catch them even when it's rough. Plus, too, because of the wind, there's been more people pompano fishing because the bay was rough, and it's getting more and more popular. We've got these synthetic baits now, where before you used to have to go out and either buy some shrimp or use a sand flea rake to get the proper bait. Well, now this fish bite is like, I guess I could compare it to probably cocaine to an addict. And they will, I have fished with 4 or 5 things at the same time, and they go for that first. So it makes it a little easier. And, all you got to do is go out there and catch them and eat them a couple of times. Guess what? You'll go back. So you got more people catching them, more people fishing for them. Though I suspect that the limit is going to drop. It's 6 right now per person, and we got a video of a good friend of mine, Tim Fontaine, where he went fishing, and we caught our limit in a couple hours, and just as fast as, and we caught a bunch of whiting, and everything was on those synthetic baits. Fish bite, fish gum. There's several different ones, but fish bite is really outstanding. So it has been good, and now as we move later into the season, you're going to start getting more skipjacks, see, and then you'll start getting more hardtails, and the people say trash fish will move in. So you will not catch as many pompano because there will be other predators there that will get your bait. Occasional redfish in there and stuff. So
and pink seems to be the color of choice, right?
We were catching them on whatever we had out there that particular day. There's one Tim had some that was 2 colors.
Oh,
yellow and pink, or whatever. It's kind of like, wow.
All right, we're going to take this break real quick and come back with some videos that Greg's going to narrate for us that he was able to shoot while they were out fishing. All right, welcome back. We got some short videos here that Greg's going to narrate for us. He took while he and Tim were out, and thanks to my exceptional technical and computer skills, we're going to try to watch these. Why is Jeff hiding in the corner? I don't know. But anyway, let's take a look at it, and hopefully take a look at it and see what we got going.
Okay, here we are out at our special spot, and that is Tim Fontaine, Pompano catcher.
Well, did you tell him he was going to be on TV and he decided to be in disguise?
Well, that's the first one. There's some great video. And so anyway, that was he was using a triple hook rig, and he's got little floats on his, and then he's got the multicolored fish gum, and we're trying to protect ourselves from the sun.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Because it's you don't want to.
Just kidding, not kidding about that. Wear buffs all the time out there. This sun's too much. So let's take a look at.
And so here's another one that he caught. We got our limit in a couple hours, and I kept catching whiting. And he kept catching pompano. I think we got our limit, and I only had 2 or 3 out of the limit, and he had the rest of them. So I don't know if that's illegal or not. I hope to God it's not. Anyway, that is a really nice, probably 14, 15 incher from the fork to the nose, which is some good eating. And it's kind of like you're running down.
Exceptional eating.
Yeah, I run down there. It's just rods bouncing, and so it's really hard to fish and do all that to take the videos. So.
So,
But-
in other words, you're giving an excuse as to how come there's no videos of you catching fish?
Well, we'll get to that one. Yeah, you could look at it like that. Here, now you see a little bit of Scott. This is a couple of weeks ago, and his rod was just a bouncing, and then
That's about perfect conditions.
it is. You want enough for it to be stirred up, to stir up the sand fleas or whatever's out there, and the pompano every so often. There were some people down from us.
Yeah.
And they were questioning, oh, what are you using for bait? They were using exactly the same thing we were for bait, but their rigs were pretty geriatric, and that may have had something to do with it. But there's another one, a nice one. We didn't catch any undersized ones.
And there's a little picture of him.
Yeah, Tim is a retired chemical engineer with the paper mill.
Yep.
And he's really, really a great friend. We've been friends since we were kids, and a good fisherman.
And he's wearing out the fishing since he retired, right?
Yeah, he does. I mean, he calls me. I wish I could go a third of the times that he goes, but he went with Doug Sale to bring Doug's boat up, I guess, from South Florida or something. He hasn't been around lately, but we trade food recipes and stuff, and Tim is just a super individual, very intelligent, and a really good fisherman. There he is bringing in another one, and I'm trying to. It's kind of hard to see it in the surf, but there it is, and that one's. That's another nice one. You can see that.
Every time I see that, the only picture I have is of it laying on the grill.
Yeah, right. And there's his triple hook rig, and he's goes down, picks it up. He wears his gloves, and you know a person knows what they're doing and goes enough after they've had hooks in their hands, and you grab that. That pompano down in his stomach. He's got a little barb there close to his stomach, and I'm telling you, you go grab that thing when you're out there fishing, you'll be bleeding all over the beach because it's sharp. That's what'll cut your line a lot of times with those things.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody getting hooks in their hands.
Yeah.
No.
Man, this guy.
Never happens to us.
I have torn some out of him. There he is again, and I know it may be boring to you, but there's certain things like with these pompanos. Sometimes your line will go slack, and you're going, well, it's not bouncing on anything. You go and you look, and your line will be down the beach 50, 60 yards because they pick it up and come in and go to the right. And then all of a sudden you start reeling in, there he is. So this was another one that he caught. I think we'll eventually get to one where I tripped over one. And
hey, don't laugh at the whiting.
No,
Excellent
I
fish.
had two whiting on at the same time on two of my four rods. I did manage to get a couple of them and take them to Tommy Cooley, our former county commissioner, good friend of mine, who absolutely adores pompano.
Yeah,
There's
he's
another
showing
one.
his face a little bit. There you
Yep.
go. I think we got one more. Oh,
Yeah, now Tim's got the phone, so that means, and that was the biggest one we caught. Look at that handsome devil. Man, and he's got that cigar. And,
magic cigar.
Yeah, so I'm talking there. You're probably lucky you're not listening to it. But yeah, that was the biggest one we did catch. I think I caught 2 or 3 out of the 12. And about that time I yelled because his rod went again. And so we had to quit because you can't catch and cull.
Nope.
But I suspect that with everything that's going on with the number of fish, that somebody's going to come up and say, probably need to cut that thing to 5 or 4.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Killing the limits on everything, but
Well,
you know, a massive pompano run. Pompano run. So
it's been good.
Did you see, were they all 3-hook rigs?
I was using 2-hook rigs. I did one of my rods I re-rigged after we got back, and I've got 2. But he uses all 3s, and I use 2s. And here's the thing: You can buy those 3-hook rigs and the floats and all that already made, but they do have, and I will tell you, it's a cheap, crappy hook that's on there. And if you can, put a better hook on, because those hooks, I mean, you'll use them one trip and they'll rust, but they're more of a kale and not a circle hook. You want a good circle hook. You're going to go out there and spend the time, and I'll go get you one of those good sharp hooks. I can't think of the name of the brand that we use, but put you a good sharp hook on there, rinse it off. When you get back, it'll still be there, and you can use it even if you only go 2 or 3 times a year.
Sure.
And you want something that's sharp. And one of the things about Pompano, use a circle hook. You don't have to pick it up and jerk the rod. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there's too much slack in it anyway.
That thing will go, and it'll start going, and he'll hook himself. Believe me, just like the old Japanese hooks and circle hooks we use bottom fishing. Don't snatch it from him. He'll hook himself.
All right, let's take this quick break, then we'll come back. All right, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that, and appreciate Tim Fontaine allowing us to use his image on TV.
I'll have to give him some spaghetti sauce.
There'll be a cost to it.
Yeah.
So last week we managed to get out one morning, and East Bay
Thursday.
and was off a big full moon. But again, the best time to go fishing is when you can fish. I mean, we haven't been able to chew. We've been so busy with the city, with my business, so. It was a tough day. Great tide, but a tough day.
Perfect weather,
Yeah,
perfect conditions.
No wind.
And the tide we had about a 2.5-foot tide, so it was really moving. You could see the grass that was growing up in the marsh. We were fishing around the marsh, how that was laid over.
Underwater.
Because the water was rushing so much. So there should have been, but for the moon, and Lord knows what other conditions that will call it fishing instead of catching. It was tough. We would get around areas where there was bait, and 2 or 3 times we threw 2 or 3 casts in a row and caught fish. But a lot of dinks, little rat reds and little small trout. They hit good for about 10, 15 minutes. We said, all right, well, we're doing the right thing. And then we wouldn't get nothing for an hour. We would kind of move off of that
It was
going,
the oddest.
what in the world is going on? And then we got another spurt. But never, you caught one keeper, I caught one keeper eventually.
It's around both of them
they're
around
both
18
of them.
inches.
They look like twins, 18.5 inches, pound and 3/4 fish. And, but did see a couple of nice reds.
Yeah.
The water was gin clear. It was beautiful to look at. If you wanted to go out in the marsh and just look at stuff and look at the water, it was a great day for that.
True.
But the fishing was tough.
And and this is where you have to accept the challenge, right? So we go out there at daylight. Water temperature, like I said, it was around 83 back there, I think, for the most part.
Later on in the morning, started out about 80.
We started with top water.
Yep.
And, you could kind of tell that you aggravated a fish once in a while. It wasn't a real feeding strike.
Right.
You'd have some clicks here or there, and nothing substantial. Then I went to throwing plastics. I started with a Z-Man. I went to a gulp. Greg used a combination of Paul Browns and some hard baits,
some Miradine hard baits, and the top water. And I want to give you, here's a good tip. And I think proved it out twice while we were fishing the other day. When you're throwing that top water, he's in the back of the boat, I'm in the front. And we're going, ooh, strike. Ooh, another strike. There was one time, 6 times that fish came up there and slapped it, and it was only probably 10 yards from the boat, 15 yards from the boat, the last time that he finally got it. So the tip is, when you're throwing a topwater and you're bringing it in and working it and you're aggravating them, don't get that strike and start reeling and think, oh, I got to throw right back where I just was to catch that fish. Keep working at it.
Don't stop.
Because that sucker, and he will attract other fish. And you never know if the first one to hit it is one you ended up with. So just keep working at it, because 2 different times when I was throwing that topwater, had a half a dozen strikes, which made me think of 2 things. I'm working it too fast, I'm working it too slow, or he's too dadgum small to take it. And that's probably the case.
And it's just, sometimes you just aggravate them.
Yeah.
They're not feeding and you just aggravate them.
They just come up there and butt. Sometimes they'll knock it 2 feet in the air.
Yeah.
But enticing them, that's the exciting part about fishing. So.
And we worked around the outsides. There was a lot of water, and we went well back into the marsh. And we would find pockets of fish, and you'd think, okay, this is where they are. And it would last for a few casts, and then they'd be gone. Yeah. You know, and like I said, they weren't big fish. We were picking up some stuff. But I got to looking around, and the only thing that I could see was rain minnows everywhere. There were rain minnows everywhere.
Yeah.
And so I started digging through the bag, because I knew at some point, I saw this somewhere. I've never fished with it, but it's a little small, very thin, rainbow-looking rapala, or rapala, however you want to say it. And I told Greg, I said, "You're in trouble now. I'm gonna put this on," and I did. And honest to goodness, I had 3 strikes in a row, and caught. But they were 10 or 12-inch fish. But we would get to a place around an island, a grass island, water moving all over, and you think, okay, we found them, and it would only last a few minutes. And then you go for an hour around there till you find another pocket like that. But even though they weren't that big, and we caught 2 18-inch fish, when I put something out there that size that mimicked the majority of the bait that we could see, it turned up big time, so you got to be flexible. Well, listen, once again, we've talked our way through the show. We appreciate you guys looking, and God bless. Have a great day.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.